Ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at unprecedented interference by the tech tyrants here. You know, why am I bringing this up with Amy Coney Barrett and everything? And we got stuff on that too. Don't you worry. We got a stacked news day today. But folks, we're just weeks away from it. We're not even weeks away from an election. I already voted. The election's over for me. Me and Paul already voted. We're in an election right now. And these big tech titans are abusing you. They're abusing their authority. Again, I'm not suggesting what they're doing is illegal. They are private companies. I want to be crystal clear on that. But I am suggesting to you what they're doing is anti-competitive, immoral, and will lead to the long-term destruction of their business model, just like big media who tried this too before we had places like Fox News, Breitbart, Bongino.com, The Federalist, and otherwise. They are systematically attacking and silencing conservative voices. And given their monopoly over the public space, this is dangerous. It's effectively you 200 years ago going out into the town square trying to advocate for your candidate and some free marketeer buying up all the streets. This is a better analogy than I thought. I just made this up on the fly. Yeah, sorry, I know self-praise stinks. But buying up all the streets and saying, no, you can't talk here. No, you can't talk there either. You can't talk. Remember, there were no telephones or anything. No, you can't talk there either. Well, where can I talk? You can talk in your house. Free speech. You still have free speech. I'm not a representative of the government. I just bought up all the streets. The government's not telling you can't speak. I just bought them all. That's what's going on right now, folks. Julie Kelly has a terrific piece in the show notes. Please read this. To access the show notes, go to Bongino.com/newsletter. The newsletter is the show notes. Subscribe for free. I'll send you these articles every day. American greatness, Julie Kelly, who's been all over this. Ladies and gentlemen, there's unprecedented election interference going on by these tech tyrants. If we don't do something soon, this is going to be over. Is big tech breaking campaign finance laws? Julie Kelly, American greatness. Yes. Yes. Hallelujah. I've been talking about this for, 4 years now. It's a dead end with this Section 230 stuff. Section 230, that what they want to do is some people are trying to change 230 and suggesting that, and folks, I want to be candid. I go back and forth on this depending on when new information services. These tech tyrants are claiming their platforms. We're independent. We're just platforms. People publish what they want. We're not responsible for it. Everybody got it? That's not what they're doing. A lot of them are acting as publishers, kind of like the New York Times. Now, I don't think getting rid of Section 230, which enables them to do that, which would effectively make them de facto publishers and susceptible to lawsuits, is the answer. I just don't think that's the answer for a number of reasons. I owe you those reasons. Number one is now having seen it from the inside and how it works, it's not a moneyed interest thing for me. It's having more expertise on the issue now. It would really empower Twitter and Facebook more because any free market competitors to those products, Parler and others, what if, again, we label a tweet sensitive because it has some gore in it, but we don't want to delete it? Maybe it's a terror attack. Is that making us a publisher too? We don't have the ability to, we're not a multi-billion-dollar enterprise like Facebook yet. We don't have the ability to fight that out in court. Facebook and Twitter can fight that out all day. I think that's why they quietly want this 230 thing to go away, because they know it'll eliminate their competitors. That makes sense, Joe?
Yeah.
But
easily, yes.
But there is another route. That was funny. I almost aired into my English section. But there is another route. There's another route here. There's another route to go down. I suggested a long time ago that Julie Kelly hammers. I'll get to a piece in a minute where she lays out the problem and the solution. Ladies and gentlemen, what about election law? If you are going to start playing games and playing footsie with political candidates, you never do the same for Democrats, but you're only hammering Republicans. Twitter fact-checking tweets, sanctioning tweets, putting warnings on tweets, and it only seems to happen to Donald Trump, people like Laura Loomer in Florida, who's been banned from Twitter altogether, other candidates as well who've had their message, whether you agree with it or not, sanctioned, censored, or put little warning labels on it, then ladies and gentlemen, you are de facto making a donation to the opposition by creating a platform that benefits the opposition to the candidate, the Republicans you're sanctioning. Did we not mention this, Joe, years ago?
Yes,
and
sir.
Julie Kelly's on top of this right now. An in-kind donation to a campaign is not a monetary donation, but it is a donation nonetheless. If I want to donate to a campaign, there are campaign limits. If I wanted to say play some scam or stunt, what you could do is say, well, listen, can't Joey Bag of Donuts campaign, because I can only donate, say, what is it, $5,200 to you. I think I can do more. And here's what I'll do. I'll let you use my campaign offices so you don't have to rent anything, and all our technology so you don't have to pay for it. That's like $20,000 in value, but I won't give you any money. Wink and a nod. Totally illegal. That has to be declared as an in-kind donation. Not cash, but has a value. How is that any different from what Twitter and Facebook are doing right now by attacking conservative candidates for office? How? Please explain. This needs to be litigated to death because it's not fair. And maybe it'll open their eyes. Let's go to Julie Kelly's piece. What's going on now? What happened recently that has me all fired up about this? Well, Twitter is also pledging to give, quote, context, folks, to trending topics. Context? I thought they were only a platform, not a publisher. Don't publishers give context? That's what they do. Purportedly, so users get an idea why a subject is popular, and, quote, to reduce the potential for misleading information to spread. On Sunday, the company added a disclaimer to the, quote, 82% of Americans trend, which referred to the percentage of Americans who will see a tax hike if Biden repeals the Trump tax cuts. Twitter cautioned users that the figure promoted by the RNC chairwoman, Ronna McDaniel, quote, created some mathematical inconsistencies. This is infuriating.
Wow.
I know, because Joe and I have talked about this repeatedly. If Biden gets elected, you are going to see your taxes go up. Just do the math yourself. You got a tax cut under President Trump. Pretty much everyone. The middle class, their rate went from 25% to 22%. Twitter morons, that means it went down. Additionally, for Twitter morons, if you were in the lower middle class, your taxes before Trump were 15% of your income. They're now 12%. That means they went down to the Twitter imbeciles on the board who can't do basic math. That statistic Ronna McDaniel tweeted out there that 82% of Americans will see their taxes go up if Biden is elected is a mathematical certainty. I would argue that undersells how many Americans are going to see their taxes go up. And yet Twitter, quote, has added context. Added context meaning what? They are acting as a publisher. They are not a platform, Twitter. And not only that, they are effectively publishing op-eds and opinion pieces by Democrat talking points, giving a large, enormous in-kind donation. How is the FEC, the Federal Election Commission, not involved here? Now, Julie Kelly makes some interesting points about how there's not a quorum right now, so there's not much the FEC can do. But ladies and gentlemen, this is a very gray area in terms of litigation. The Democrats understood a long time ago that what? To quote my good friend Tom Fitton, the process is punishment. What does that mean? Liberals figured out a long time ago that the legal process, suing people, lawsuits, that process, regardless of the result, win or lose the lawsuit, is in fact a punishment. Because nobody wants to go to court. Well, it's time Republicans played that same game, folks. How is this not in court with Twitter right now? With Facebook and others? Google, YouTube. How is this not in court? They are making a massive in-kind donation to the Joe Biden campaign where real damages can be calculated. You can calculate the penetration of a tweet by Donald Trump on average based on his following and average reach. If you censor that tweet, you can calculate the financial damage, and in fact, that would be an in-kind donation to the Biden campaign. How is this not in court? How is it not in court damage to the Republican Party and Ronna McDaniel when you fact-checked with erroneous nonsense her tweet about Biden's massive tax hikes? How is that not a donation to the DNC? It's a disgrace. Again, why I'm involved in Parler, where you speak freely, Democrat or Republican. We don't censor your stuff. You want to make a prediction about the election? You can't do it on Twitter. You can do it on our platform. Julie Kelly goes on about this in-kind donation thing, which I'm not trying to take any steam out of her engine here at all, folks. She's very smart. But this is a topic, again, we talked about, Joe, I know, in the old studio years ago, where this was the real path towards taking these tech tyrants on, is they are making campaign donations in kind to opposing candidates. Here's the second screenshot from this piece. The president, the DOJ, and congressional Republicans have fixated on reining in biased big tech companies by eliminating Section 230 protections. Time and resources, however, might be better spent, pursuing legal recourse against these companies for openly campaigning on behalf of Democrats in possible violation of federal law. Yes. Another angle could involve accusing the Biden campaign and Democrat Party of failing to report in-kind campaign contributions from big tech during this cycle. Maybe uncharted territory, but plenty of options are on the table. Ladies and gentlemen, Julie nails it. This is a disgrace which is going to have long-term ramifications. We have a public square you were not allowed to campaign on because the tech tyrants bought all the streets.
You just heard Dan Bongino.